What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm talking about Your Monster. This movie is a 2024 movie that just dropped on Max in January 2025, which allowed me to see it with audio description. It stars Melissa Barrera. The audio description is deluxe, and it's narrated by Darren Rivets. I was like, it's awkward. Um, I've been doing a thing starting in 2025 on the website, which is sort of like a stream of consciousness. It would be a really long video if I did it on YouTube because I don't know how to do video editing, which is why none of these things are ever video edited. It's just, I do this by myself. I don't know if you've noticed. It's kind of obvious. Um, but yeah, so I did a quality check for this. It was just like where I ran through the movie and gave my thoughts basically on every aspect of the audio description. For the most part, the audio description is fine for this. I think I gave it like a B plus. I'm actually grading the audio description because I'm going into great detail when I do a quality check. And I thought Darren did a nice job vocally. The movie does sort of avoid ethnically describing anybody, and everybody's just sort of described by hair color. So, like Melissa Barrera's character is raven-haired. There's another character that's ginger, and another one that's sandy haired. I think another lady had curly hair. Everybody is just defined by hair color, like in this, or like hairstyle. Like what separates and divides. You know, that's what we all identify through as our hair and hair color and hairstyle. The thing that we can change about ourselves. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the one thing where it's like, today I'm a ginger, but tomorrow I'm purple, or bleach, or, like, I mean, those are the aspects you can change. Anyway, I think part of the reason stems from the fact that the lead is Latina, and I've noticed that they're not 100% sure what to do with that. A lot of times we get black and white, but we don't get... I've noticed that when there's a Latina actress or an actress of like ambiguous definition, like I don't know I don't know what do they identify as. We don't know what to do with that. So raven-haired is the most that you'll get from Melissa Barrera's character. There's also, but there is some really great description about like clothing style throughout here. There was some decent interior description when we finally they spent a lot of time in this brownstone. Over the course of the film, you'll have a pretty decent understanding of the layout of the house and different rooms, but not great. I mean, it's not like amazing, but it's good enough. It's not like, oh my god, the depth of description. Jesus. There were choices that were made, like the amount of lamps, for example, I thought was interesting. It made it sound like that we had like a hoarder's amount of lamps in one room at one time. Can't remember the exact adjective that was used before lamps, but it made it sound like there were more lamps necessary. There are also interesting choices like gentle clouds. I mean, like, I get what you're trying to say, but it made me think, like, are there aggressive clouds? I have a feeling, I get what you're going for. I'm not sure gentle is the word that we're looking for, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not 100% sure we found the right adjective in that case. And then for the quality check, I suggested puffy, but I've thought about it since, and I'm like, I don't even know if puffy is right, because puffy suggests that there's almost like a thickness to it. This could be like a cloud that is sort of wispy, maybe wispy clouds. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it made me think. I was like, gentle clouds. Aren't, aren't most clouds, if they're not stormy, gentle, like inherently? Like, are there are there aggressive ones? Are there ones that are really like pushy up there? Hey, I'm walking here, like, um, what else can I say about this movie? The the part about the monster. Okay, so that's the part we have to talk about. I have to start kind of diving a little bit more into some of the stuff I didn't like about the movie and the audio description. I thought the monster was really underdescribed for being a monster. He also never has a name, so he's just a monster. There are times where you get things like at one point he bares his teeth. He is sort of described as being like hairy. We get a little bit of his um, sort of like clothes. He looks kind of raggedy at one moment. When we see him, he does kind of just like kind of come out of the closet. But this is a horror comedy, basically. I mean, I use the term horror really lightly, but it is like a horror comedy, and he's like, I don't know, like Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying? Like he's kind of chill. He's got kind of like an asshole personality to him. But like, of course, over the course of the movie, you'll pick up where his character and Melissa Barrera's character are headed. She just she has an asshole ex-boyfriend that she just can't get rid of. And I was putting in my notes, I was like, girl, have you like she's I was like, have you seen Waiting to Exhale? Did you hear the song Bust Your Windows? Have you heard any of the Carrie Underwood albums where she dug her key into the side, took a Louisville Slugger to both heads? You need to be doing one of those things. You don't need to be doing what you're doing. She has a boyfriend at the beginning of the movie, Jacob. You see a little bit of backstory, and then he leaves her when she's diagnosed with cancer. And she's so hard to relate to because she spends the whole movie pining after her boyfriend who abandoned her when she was diagnosed with cancer. Like, that's what this movie is. This is why you've never heard of this movie, is because as entertaining as parts of this movie are, she's one of the worst female leads in a movie. Like, you have to buy into the fact that for some reason she would still be like this, and most women would not. Like, the Bechdel test here has got to be like low. Women must be like, girl, we are not impressed with you right now. um I mean, there are a lot of reasons to pine after your guy and to be like, well, I miss him, I miss the time. You had cancer and he bailed. Like, what the uh and it's not like they had just been dating for like a month. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they were just like, well, we just met. I feel like this is a lot to take on after 3 dates. you know? No, no, that's not what that is. So we have to spend the whole movie with her pining after Jacob, who is clearly an asshat. Like, the whole movie, I was like, please, will the monster kill him? Please, can the monster kill him? I want this movie to end with the monster killing him. Like, the whole movie, I was just like, please, please, please let this kid's face get ripped off. And of course, the movie keeps making him worse and worse and worse of a human being until finally, our lead is like, you know what? Maybe this guy's a dick. Like, she finally reaches her breaking point, but he has to. I mean, he's close to just like physically assaulting her and beating her. Like, that's literally like the next step. Like, some of the things that he does are just so shitty, like human to human, that you're like, how on earth are you? Nobody is still attached to anybody like this. So, as a movie, I had a bit of a hard time with that. I think Melissa does the best job that she can. I like the music theater aspects that the movie brings in here. Some of the writing is clever. I didn't hate the little thing that they try to do with Melissa and the monster, although it is incredibly predictable where this movie is headed. So, yeah, you could do worse for a movie. Audio description, like I said, some of the stuff is good. They do some really good clothing, like their costumes and stuff. They have a Halloween party. Of course, they have a Halloween party because there's a monster. And guess what he gets to do on Halloween? He can leave the house because he just looks like he's in costume. So, of course, there's a Halloween party. And there were those scenes too where it reminded me of like She's All That, where like, you know, she's like coming down the staircase for the first time and somebody looks up at her and they're like, wow, you're actually beautiful. You kiss me down by the beauty, honey, nanny. Like that whole thing. Uh, yeah, it has that sort of typical rom-com thing. There were some clever lines. They're watching TV and they're flipping through things, and he sees like a horror movie for 2 seconds, and he's like, "Ooh, is this a documentary?" I love that. That was cute. Um, but every time they walk outside, it's never described like where they are. They could be anywhere. They're just walking. Like they go for a walk. Where? Like they're in New York City. They go for a walk where? Like on the sidewalk? Through a park? Where are they walking? Anyway, there were actually times too where nothing substantial is happening. It's just sort of like the score is playing, or like like a needle drop basically is playing, and they don't want to like, and they, I guess, ran out of things to say. I'm like, you did not run out of things to say. Please keep going. So, like, they could have had more audio description here. They could have done a little bit more. I think it's a fine audio description track. It's a good one, but it's not a great one. And the movie has problems. Melissa's fine. She's entertaining. I like listening to her sing. She's a good singer. If this is her voice, if she's not dubbed, then she has a nice voice. But yeah, God, she's like the worst. She's like the worst female lead of the year. Just like, she feels like she was written by a dude who is like, we don't like strong female leads anymore. We're course correcting, and we're gonna make a weak female lead who will let anything happen to her. Just for humor's sake, we're gonna. Yeah, I mean, I get it. By the end of the movie, I was so enraged at Jacob that if his skin had been ripped from his body, I would have just been like, he deserved it. You know, I mean, he's one of the worst cinematic, like, romantic opportunities, I think, of 2024. Like, no woman is going to look at Jacob and be like, I would have gotten him in that. I don't care how hot he is. Like, when you look at the things that he's doing as a character, you're just like, man, this guy's a fucking dick. Like, every opportunity he has to zig, he zags. He just chooses the worst opportunity at every single moment. So, Your Monster, you can watch it. It's on Max. It's cute. It's clever in some places. I didn't hate it, but it's got problems. And I like Melissa Barrera. I'm kind of like, I'm pulled. I feel like I'm being pulled in directions. So I'm gonna be a little bit gentle, and I'm gonna give Your Monster a B minus. So anyway, that's kind of what I feel. Like Melissa Barrera as an actress, though, so that's good. It's another interesting performance from her. Maybe one day she'll return to the Scream franchise. That would be nice. That would be nice. That's it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.